Hello and welcome to BBC World News. I'm Naga Munchetti.
And I'm Alice Baxter. These are the headlines. Also coming up for you in a bit in business news, why the makers of Hollywood blockbusters are looking for new audiences in China.
Let's start though with news from southeast London, where a man thought to be a soldier has been brutally killed. Prime Minister David Cameron is saying that there are strong indications that it was a terrorist attack. The victim was hacked to death by two men who then remained at the scene and were later shot and wounded by police. One man was filmed in the immediate aftermath, his hands covered in blood, telling bystanders, "You people will never be safe." Tom Simons has more. Speaking to the BBC earlier, Imam Ajmal Masroor from the Islamic Society of Britain said that his organisation is appalled by this attack. Eric Schmidt is a security and terrorism expert with the New York Times. Now, he's been speaking about the difficulties which intelligence agencies or services are facing when they're trying to intercept small groups which are intent on violence. We're going to be at the scene of this horrific attack. Our correspondent is there. We'll bring you an update further on that in a few minutes' time. Now, as the dust is settling in Oklahoma, the clean-up from one of the worst tornadoes in America's history is getting underway. Police cordons have been removed for the first time since the disaster, and families are now able to return to their homes to survey the damage. Alistair Leithhead sent this report from Moore in Oklahoma. In other news, Russia's Deputy Defence Minister has told the BBC that there is still a lack of trust between Russia and the rest of Europe. Anatoly Antonov said that he would like to see more cooperation on defence matters like terrorism and weapons of mass destruction. He said, though, that issues like the proposed US missile defence shield keep getting in the way. He spoke to our Moscow correspondent Daniel Sanford ahead of a conference this week on European security. Do stay with us on BBC News. There's plenty to come, including... Let's take a look at some of the news in the UK now. Hello, this is BBC World News. I'm Naga Munchetti. Here are the headlines. The incident happened in south-east London. Our correspondent Susanna Mendonça is there at the scene of this attack. Susanna, thanks very much for bringing us up to date. Susanna Mendonça there. Let's move on, because the clean-up operation is underway in Oklahoma after Monday's devastating tornado. Some remarkable stories are emerging from the region. Joe Darban was at work when the tornado struck. His 6-year-old son, Hezekiah, was hiding in the local store, which took a direct hit from the twister. Well, when Joe emerged after the storm, he raced to the scene to try to find his son. His neighbour and friend, Jim Roughton, also joined in the frantic search after surviving in another shelter nearby. They spoke to David Botti about those harrowing hours. The funeral of the Nigerian author Chinua Achebe takes place in a few hours' time in his hometown of Ogidi in the east of the country. Chinua Achebe's books included his best-known novel, Things Fall Apart, and it drew international acclaim and influenced many writers. He died in March in the United States, where he'd lived for more than 2 decades. Our Nigeria correspondent Will Ross has more. Don't forget, you can get in touch with me and some of the team. We're on Twitter. It's always good to hear your thoughts on the stories we're covering. My address is at BBC Naga. We can keep you updated via Twitter. Do get in touch. Don't forget, Alice is going to be here with the latest news in World Business Report. First, though, here's a look at the weather where you are. Hello and welcome to BBC News. I'm Naga Munchetti. Here are the headlines. Those are the latest headlines from BBC News. Now for the latest financial news with Alice Baxter. Hello. Health unions say that the state of the National Health Service services for people who can't get to a GP in many parts of England is lamentable. The Royal College of Nursing says that a fall in the number of NHS district nurses of more than 40% over the last decade is causing needless suffering for patients. NHS England insists that the overall number of nurses working in the community has increased. Here's our health correspondent, Adam Brimelow. At 6 o'clock on Breakfast, Charlie State and Louise Minchin will have all the day's news. That's at 6. Hello, welcome to BBC World News. I'm Naga Munchetti. Here are the top stories.